Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about the Modern Warfare beta again. It's the feedback video after the first weekend. Let's go! As you may know, the first 2 days of the beta was early access. Then it became open on Saturday and Sunday. And talking about the very first days, the minimap was not activated. We did have nothing. I did not enjoy it at all. I felt like a headless chicken walking around and have no idea where anyone is. And the snowballing effect was very there. Luckily, Infinity Ward is very good at keeping up with the community and have read all the feedbacks and everything that people are putting out there on Reddit, Twitter, everywhere basically. And people wanted a minimap. So many people canceled their pre-orders or threatened to cancel their pre-orders, and they added the minimap. Now the minimap that we got does not have any red dots, and I'm completely fine with that. It's a good compromise. I just need the minimap to know if it's a teammate or enemy behind me, because the outlines only show it if it's in my view angle. And I think that's great. I love it. After they added the minimap, it became a whole new game for me. I didn't run around like a headless chicken anymore, and I knew where to go. I know where my teammates are, therefore I can navigate around the map more easily, and I can know where I should keep an eye out for where enemies can be. On top of the minimap, we also have a compass on the very top of the heads-up display. And it shows the red dots for enemies who are shooting. That said, if you're using a silencer, you won't pop up there. But for me, I think the compass is making the heads-up display a little bit cluttered, and there's so many things that you need to keep an eye on. And in my opinion, I think it would be great if they implemented the idea that I saw someone called Sean Mooney post on Twitter. As you can see, the compass is now around the minimap, so you can see the direction of the red dots, but you can't see exactly where the red dots are. In my opinion, that would be a great concept to implement, since it makes the heads-up display way less cluttered and it's easier to get all the information you need in just a quick glance, instead of looking at the minimap and then on top of the compass. I would also be completely fine if they removed the compass completely, but the minimap has completely changed my life in this game, okay? I like it now. Next up, I want to talk about spawns. So there's a few issues with the spawns. If you follow me on Twitter already, make sure you do that if you don't. I posted a clip where I literally spawned right in front of an enemy, and it seems likely that it's due to the fly-in animation. From the beginning of the fly-in animation to the end, it takes 2.3 seconds. A lot can happen in 2.3 seconds in a COD game, and the spawn get locked, or at least that's what it seems like. So when the game chooses your spawn, and it's currently a safe spawn, it can happen that an enemy run into that spawn, but since it's locked, it can't change. There's also been a few situations where I spawn right next to an enemy spawning, and that's something that shouldn't happen in COD. But I know this is just a beta, and they get so much more data from checking it from the public than doing in-house testing with spawns. Therefore, I'm confident that these are issues that's gonna be worked out for the full launch of the game. Another thing that I want to mention about spawns is that they're kind of messy, especially in DOM. It kinda seems like the spawns in DOM were kinda like TDM, cause the home flag doesn't seem to matter where you spawn. Sometimes you spawn right at the B flag, even though you have a home flag, which is unfair for the other team because they don't get to spawn in on the B flag, so it's harder for them to penetrate and actually cap the B flag. When it comes to TDM, I feel like the spawns are too flippy again, where one time you spawn on the one side and then the other side and vice versa. It's just kind of chaos. But on the other hand again, if you play TDM Hackney Yard, they don't seem to be flippy enough. So you can end up being spawn trapped or being the one spawn trapping the enemy team. Now this is kind of a harder issue to deal with because in the middle of Hackney Yard you have a lot of power positions that look directly into one of the spawns. So technically the enemy doesn't have to push that far in, but there's no way of you getting out of your spawn. There's also been situations where you spawn in the back of Hackney Yard and enemies are right next to you, because they have kind of gone into your spawn but the spawns haven't flipped, and the spawn location is still there. Further on, I have two smaller issues that kind of affect the gameplay a lot. And that is head glitching, as well as it's hard to see people in dark areas / windows. They've already said that they're gonna fix the issue with seeing people in dark places, so I'm very happy about that, but it's one thing that I want to bring up since it's my feedback video. As far as I know, they haven't mentioned anything about the head glitching, and I think it's a huge issue because sometimes you can only see the top of their head, if that. One way to fix it would be to actually make the camera angle that you see out of a bit closer to the ground. In that way, you won't get killed by people where you can only see the top of their head. Next up, and this is a big one for me, it's inconsistency in the connection. Sometimes I had lobbies where I felt like I got sniped by SMGs. I look at the kill cam and they actually used 4 to 5 bullets, but from my view, they sniped me with an SMG. And this happened a lot. Trust me, like most of the time I played, it was on bad connection. And I ended up leaving them and I was like, F this game, like I don't want to play this anymore, I can't deal with this. And then after having a little break, I got back and it was good connection. It was so inconsistent. Now again, this is the beta that we just played, so I expect the connections to be a bit iffy. If it isn't because of the beta, it will be a huge issue. In the beginning of Infinite Warfare, we had the exact same experience. The inconsistency was insane. So I really hope this is just a temporary issue, because when the connection was good, the game felt amazing. Then I have a bit of a smaller thing again. It's the announcer. The announcer that calls in enemies' score streaks. For example, this seemed to happen so frequently, where it was like, enemy guided missile in. Like, it couldn't even finish its sentence before I got exploded into thousands of pieces. Like I said, it's a smaller issue, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Next up, I want to talk about some of the perks. More specifically, 2 of them. Since you can put on both a lethal and a tactical without affecting how many attachments and stuff you can have on your weapon, they're super frequent. So smart little me was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put on the EOD perk, as well as the Battle Hardened. Now, if you don't know, the EOD perk is supposed to reduce fire from enemy explosives and fire. And the Battle Hardened will reduce the effects of enemy flashbangs, stun grenades and EMP. And it's all fine if it's reduced, but it seemed to happen a lot where I got killed from claymores, despite the fact that I was using the EOD perk. Not exactly the same thing happened with grenades, but you almost died to grenades. Like, you got so close to death that if an enemy put 1 bullet into you, you're dead. And then we have to talk about the flashbangs. The flashbangs are absolutely insane in this game. You can't see anything at all for like the longest time. So then again, using the Battle Hardened, I thought this is gonna be good. But it still slows you down a decent amount. Your screen doesn't go completely white anymore, but it still slows you down a lot, so you don't have full movement. And I think it's fine that enemy flashbangs still affect you, but I don't think it should affect you that much. The same with the EOD perk. I don't think it should make you almost dead. I think it should maybe make you half health or something. Like, I'm not a numbers person, but I think at the point it is at now, I think it's not that good of a perk. Like, especially with the EOD perk. Why should you choose that over something else when you still almost die every time? And finally, this is more of an opinion than a feedback of the beta, and that's talking about the kill streaks. Because in my opinion, I think score streaks are better in general because they encourage people to play the objective. It was actually a few lobbies that we got into, especially in headquarters, where people didn't seem to care about the objective at all. The only thing that went around was to go around and shoot people that was trying to play the objective. They treated it like a normal TDM game. And I get that in some objective modes it's very important to keep map control, and by keeping map control you kill people to hold control over the objective. But some of these people that we run up against was clearly killing for killing because they had the map control, but they didn't go for the objective. In my opinion, point streaks would have been a better way of handling it. Get a kill, get 1 point, get an objective, get 1 point, etc. And I know you can't always force people to play the objective. There will always be those people playing objective games but actually playing TDM for themselves. Oh, one last thing. I almost forgot. The doors. The doors are crazy in this game. It sounds like a nuke going off or whatever, just like insane. And you don't even have to sprint through them. You can even sprint right past them and they're still so loud. It's insane. I just wanted to mention that I need to tune that audio down so it's not that loud. Oh yeah, another thing about like audio is that a lot of the score streaks are very, very loud, so you can't hear anything else going on in the map, and I get that it's supposed to be more realistic, but then again, it kind of destroys gameplay a little bit. Well, that was it for today, guys. I'm interested to know, what do you guys think of the beta? Do you have the same experience as me, or do you have completely different experience? I would really like to know what you guys thought of the beta, and I'm super excited for next weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, my lovely, lovely birdies.